Derek Myers, the teammate of Gerald West. Oh, and the 98 of Jerry Glenn's just gone round. I think that was off the bumper of Logan Lansford. And that is going to give the advantage to Gerald West here on the outside line. But can they hold it? That is the question. Did they make their move too soon? Thomas Harmon sitting there just in behind them. He moves up. Derek blocks. He moves down. Derek blocks again. And we have contact. Derek Myers goes round. The win is going to Thomas Harmon. Thomas Harmon wins this race. P2 goes to Brian Harris. P3 to Logan Lansford. What an incredible
car. They get another one.
Ah, fair enough. As now we see...
I had one on my car, but...
So you can win it from the back, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, no. In that case, it would be Lewis. He's a lap behind you.
Damn, Lewis.
But here we go now. The 84 on the inside. Played him. Hello everyone and welcome to the Pocono Raceway and welcome to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Champs Speed Shop. 137, and it's another Pocono race. I thought we swore off Pocono races, but apparently not. Anyway, it looks like our guys are starting to get ready for a pit party here. Almost everyone is in the pits in some way, shape, or form. We've got one waiting over the exit of turn 2. That's the 64 car of Jonas Marquez. A few people just getting themselves organized over here. Christian Budd, Jonathan Hernandez, Jaron Sanchez is there, and newcomer to the league, Cody Baldwin. So Baldwin is going. Is that Jonathan who's running the wrong number on his car? It is Jonathan running the wrong number on his car. I think I need to refresh my paints. Yeah, we do have a newcomer to the league today who is the 102 right here of Connor Baldwin. A-Class 2.2 with a 1.4K I rating. It'll be interesting to see how he stacks up against our field of drivers. As everyone is getting themselves organized here on the exit of turn 2. Looks like everyone's coming to the stop as they're waiting for a couple of drivers. There we go, that's the paint that we're supposed to see. I knew Jonathan wouldn't be doing me dirty. And it looks like Connor is going to miss out on the pit party here, St. Kilda 39 of James Watson. The pit party is now underway. See the private Mark Pentecoff put himself right up there in P6 for it. These trucks are fairly loose here on fresh tyres. They will tighten up a bit, and then possibly, depending on how you drive them, they'll either tighten up more or they'll loosen off over the run. And tyres start screaming out in pain in about 7 laps. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys can handle the trucks around here. You can see the 2, the 4, and 5, and the 28. It's Christian Poe, Jaron Sanchez, Mark Pentecoff, and Austin Hakes. 13, Travis Massey trying to get up in there as well. The draft is pretty damn strong around here. But it's also very hard to try and make positions. Oh, as you can see, Austin Hakes getting loose there. Pentecoff got loose as well. But for Hakes, that ended up with a trip to the inside wall. Guys at the front looking like they're having a fairly better time of it. A little small lift here for turn 2 at Pocono in the trucks. Oh. Oh my god. That was Brian Chambliss there going for an excursion. As you can see on the ticker so far, it's Harmon, Budd, and Hernandez, 1, 2, and 3. Separated by almost nothing. Yeah, Christian Poe, today's sponsor, always has a good deal going on his website, thechampspeedshop.com. So make sure you go check it out. Go check him out on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/champdrivescars. And you never know, you might find a promo code there, or if you ask him really nicely, he might be able to provide you with one. looks like that outside line has a little bit to it as Chris Champo gets the run. The outside of Jaron Sanchez there in one. This is the tricky triangle, but it can also be the boring triangle because the racing action is expected to string out a bit, just like what you can see here. And you know, there's not generally too many battles that generally go on around here. So we'll have to see how the racing action is going to unfold for us as the race progresses. A couple of people getting into that wall coming out of turn 3. It's going to be one of the danger spots. It's just the exits of the corners in general. Because with the trucks you can push so hard around this track, people will generally push themselves all the way up and into the fence without a moment's notice. I've also got word that we do not have a Brian Pizzacchemi here tonight, and we probably won't have him next week either. Had some real life things that he's had to take care of. Current standings actually has Al Kraus as P1 with a 4-point lead over Jaron Sanchez, although doesn't sound right, although Christian Budd has missed a race, so that's where his point deficit comes in. So it's Carl Kraus by 4 points over Sanchez, and then another 7 points back to Thomas Harmon, with Ken Campbell up there in 4th, Jonathan Hernandez in P5. That's the standings, how they are at the moment for your top 5 in points. As Jonas Marquez just took all the curb he could there in turn 3. And it looks like the majority of the field are actually not in this pit party anymore. With Thomas Harmon with his brand new paint scheme. See if we can get a little bit of a closer look at it. Just when you thought he didn't have enough Avril Lavigne on the truck already, he goes and puts some more of her on there. She's on the bonnet, she's on the deck lid, and she's on the back bumper there. It looks like this race could be a great equaliser as far as pace goes for Christian Budd. Doesn't seem to really have too much here for the guys that he's racing with. Kind of just even with them. That's just going to go show how important qualifying is going to be around here, because it will be hard for these guys to make passing opportunities and make them stick. Because the defensive line is a really good one around here. But it's literally only a line that you want to run for defense. Maybe to help you set up a pass in the next corner, but you wouldn't want to use it all the time. These four have definitely cleared out from everyone else. Mark Pentacup is still sitting up there in 5th for the pit party after starting it in P6. But but these four have just absolutely cleared out from the rest of the field like they were nothing. Just the top three alone are so close together. Don't worry too much about hearing them running into the walls here. When they're that close to the wall, it's probably netcode. Ooh, Hernandez got a wiggle. He put the right rear of it into the fence there coming out of turn one. That was the opening Chris and Bud wanted to try and take the lead of this pit party. Let's see how well Jonathan Hernandez can do on the defense there on the outside. And see, this will go to show what I was saying. That defensive line is really strong. You got to have a lot of trust in the person that's up on your inside trying to make the overtake. Because it's so easy for someone to overstep the line and run into you. Now Thomas Harmon's going to make it 3 wide going into turn one. We've got a race on our hands. And Thomas, he's probably going to slip up in front of them here and just be like, yep, thank you. Oh, close quarters. There was a little bit of contact there for the drivers. Oh, Hernandez, hold on to it. And he cannot. Oh, that sucks. That was looking like such a good little race. Oh, and Frank ran into Chris. Pentacuff got a part of it. That went from really good to really bad in a very, very small space of time. But the bumping and grinding still going on here between Harmon and Bud. And Harmon into the fence. There's the 13 of Travis Macia. Just out in front of Kyle Kraus, that was. Jaron Sanchez is just behind Jonas Marquez. There is Jonas Marquez, the number 64 truck. Oh, Marquez with a big slide coming out of turn 3. Sanchez saw that and was like, no, I'm going to the pits. Actually, a very good idea for these guys to practice pit entry around here, because it's a very high speed entry when you think about it, and you really got to get woed up quickly because the cones can really trap you to where you're actually supposed to get slowed down for. Here's Chris Champeau, the sponsor for today's race. Just behind him, Thomas Harmon. Thomas still sitting top of the timetables with a 54.928. We have about 15 minutes left here in practice. These guys might want to organise another pit party here shortly, I think, just to help fill the time a little bit. Going for a quick little run through our top 10 in the timing standings. We've got Harmon, Budd, Hernandez, Chambliss, Horton, Kraus, Sanchez, Massier, Pentacuff, and Baldwin, who's up there in P10. And he's just been displaced by Chris Champeau, who just went from 11th all the way up to 5th. And look at that. Looks like we are getting another pit party here. Everyone seems to be getting themselves all organised. Big group of them coming out of the pits at once. All right, here we go for what will hopefully be the last pit party here of practice. If they can make sure they keep themselves all sorted out. Looks like Christian Budd got a little bit of tyre spin there on the start, actually. Not usually a place where I would normally see tyre spin. Look at that, 3 wide, 4 wide, nearly 5. Back down to 3 again for the corner. These guys are laying it all out on the table right now. Hernandez is losing 1. Sanchez still just leading the way over Christian Budd. Got James Watson there trying to make the 3 wide on the inside work. Oh, Jonas Marquez just gave a tap to Austin Hakes. And that's just caused a big pile up here at the back of the pack. Mark with nowhere to go. looks like the majority of the group's still well and truly intact. Sanchez has dropped back to about 4th here in the pit party. There's Hernandez, who's back in P6. Oh, the 13's just gone around. Travis Massier. James Watson, very lucky to not get involved there. Oh, it looks like Joseph Weaver wasn't so lucky. Oh, Hernandez with a very close pass on the front of the 2 of Chris Champeau there. Chris is fighting back on his inside now, though. Doesn't look like Chris was able to get the pass back done. Hernandez still maintaining that position there in front of Chris Champeau. A lot of these guys are using the practice here, the pit parties, as a way of testing out the early run pace, trying to figure out where they can and cannot make overtakes while the tyres are wearing out. It's all going to be a big guessing game until they actually get into race mode, because everyone drives differently when it comes to practice versus race mode. As one car there going very slow along the straight, looked like he just had a spin. Speaking of spin, there's James Watson going for a lose out of turn 2. Oh, and Sanchez and Hernandez have come together. They both just crashed into the pit lane. We have about 8 minutes left here in practice. It's just under 9 laps. Thomas Harmon, he's just continuing to push as hard as he can. Still leading the timetables right now. There hasn't been much change at all in the top 11. There's Thomas Harmon practicing the pit entry. But Christian Budd was in the pits there as well. Here's Jonas Sanchez. He's got a little bit of space all to his own. Frank Isaacson, likewise with space all to his own. The silver and blue autism awareness car. And the purple and black output racing car. We see Matt Horton coming back out onto the track. There's Ken Campbell. Christian Budd's making his way back out onto track as well. Ken Campbell currently in P12 in the standings. Frank's down in 18th. In fact, make that 17th. And currently with the 18 people we have in the server, the 17 drivers, plus myself as the broadcaster, strength of field is a 27.56. Which is right up there with where we've usually been at. far as strength of field goes. And Frank's just moved himself up into 13th. So he's no longer down in last. But your top 10 in practice at the moment still Harmon, Bud, Hernandez, Chambliss, Champeau, Horton, Kraus, Sanchez, Masia, and Pentacar. There's Chris Champeau. Just behind him is Mark Pentacar. 5th and 10th in the practice standings so far. Frank Isaacson, who's just behind Matt Horton. That Frank just moved himself up into 13th recently. Matt Horton up into P6. But having a look at the lap times that we have on display here, everyone's right about that 55 mark. A couple people just below 55, some people just above 55.1. In fact, everyone in the top 10 is 55.1 or lower. 12th and beyond is all 55.2 and above. As we have about 4 laps left in practice here. As Christian Budd goes for a dive into the pits, and I think he got the barrels at the start of pit lane there. Ben Campbell doing a few more laps. And here comes Christian Budd. I think he's trying to go for fast lap. Oh, Frank Isaacson. That's a terrible crash he's just had coming out of turn 2. As Thomas Harmon snuck through behind him. There's the 64 of Jonas Marquez. Jonas currently P15. Yeah, the worst time here is a 55.519. The best being a 54.928. So you could say 6/10 covers the entire field here. Oh, Carl Kraus just about got the wall coming out of turn 2 there. Frank's still sitting on the inside between 2 and 3. There's Kyle sliding his way into the pit lane. Got a minute and a half left now. For anyone who wants to make a lap, they better be on the track already. They won't get one that counts otherwise. As Travis Masher is trying to take out all the cones that were on the pit lane there. Oh, as there goes Connor Baldwin having a massive accident coming out of turn 2. Damn. That thing spun with some ferocity. That's the kind of spin that would put Mr. Beyblade Watt Spin out of action. So guys, we're going to go to a commercial break now, so these guys can get to qualifying. And when we come back, we'll see how the grid is going to be set here with a Champ Speed Shop 132 right here from the Pocono Raceway. So make sure you guys stay tuned. qualifying. Alright, we are back, and qualifying has been complete here for the Champ Speed Shop 132, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel from the Pocono Raceway. And on the pole is going to be Mr. Jonathan Hernandez. P2 is going to go the way of Christian Budd in the 50 car. P3, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P4 will be the 21 of Brian Chambliss. P5, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. P6, the 13 of Travis Massia. P7 will be the 2 of Chris Champeau. P8, the 28 of Austin Hakes. P9, the 26 of Joseph Weaver. And P10, the 60 of Kyle Kraus. P11 is going to be Ken Campbell. P12, Connor Baldwin. P13, Frank Isaacson. P14, James Watson. P15, Mark Pentecoff. P16, Matt Horton. And last but not least, Jonas Marquez, wrapping up the field in 17th position. So we did say qualifying was the most important thing around here. You want to get that track position, because this is going to be a long and hard 55 laps around here. As you can see, the lights are already out on the pace car. Means we will be going green straight away when we get to the start-finish line again. And these early laps, as I said earlier in practice, these trucks are all very loose on cold tires. Then they'll tighten up a little bit from there, and then depending on how you drive them, they'll either tighten up more or they'll start getting loose again. But the exits of the corners are going to be the critical areas that we have to watch for, especially the tunnel turn, turn number 2, which has proven to be deadly, especially in practice, as we saw. But the exit of turn 3 is also just as deadly. "17 trucks getting ready to take the start here. Let's see if someone can actually beat Christian Budd on pure pace here, rather than a little bit of pit strategy and fuel saving. As the pace car goes off, first starters on green.
Green flag.
All the restarts are on the leader as we are underway here for the Champ Speed Shop 132, live from the Pocono Raceway. And already you can see Thomas Harmon trying to step out, trying to get a move going there on the inside of Jonathan Hernandez. And they will go 3 wide into turn 1. But Hernandez turns it down across the nose of Thomas Harmon, and he will take the lead here coming out of turn 1. There's the 50 of Christian Budd, who was going to hold on to to P2. But Brian Chambliss and Thomas Harmon sitting there battling it out for third. But now Christian Budd looking to the inside move on Jonathan Hernandez. This will be for the lead if he can get it, as everyone's slipping, sliding, dipping and diving. But Hernandez with that run on the outside, look at that. He almost completely cleared Christian Budd on the exit of turn 2. He does so going into 3. And this is also going to open up the opportunity for Chambliss to try and make a move here on the front stretch. We'll see how they go as they start fanning out down the track a little bit. Hernandez just trying to break the draft, but Christian Budd has the 21 of Chambliss right up his chuff, pushing him down the front stretch. Thomas Harmon was a part of that pushing party as well, and they've ditched him on the outside line now. Let's see what Chambliss can do. Can he get the momentum, the run, to try and make an overtake effective here on Christian Budd? We'll have to wait and see as they come into turn number 2. And it actually looks like that 21 got a little bit too loose there coming through the tunnel turn, and he lost out on a little bit of real estate there. But still, side by side they go through 3. And that momentum that you can get on the outside line of 3 is definitely coming into play now as Christian Budd pulls ahead of Brian Chambliss just ever so nicely. And their little bit of a battle there actually allowed Jonathan Hernandez to get a little bit of an air gap here between himself and Christian Budd. It's not much. Only 1 or 2 tenths. But it's just enough that it's going to make a little bit of a difference here. But sometimes that is all the gap you need just to have that little bit of clear sailing. Another thing you want to worry about too, being a car in line, is you don't want to follow the person in front of you too closely, because that just helps to overheat your tires even more, and it makes the handling go to crap a lot faster. As you can see in the background there, they're still battling it out. This is the battle for 8th. Doesn't look like a battle for 8th because Kyle Kraus has a little bit of a gap over these guys behind him, but they're all 2 by 2 trying to make moves happen. That was Joseph Weaver that was up on the inside of Kraus coming out of turn 2. But it looks like these guys are starting to get themselves sorted out here. Still a little bit of battling going on there with Ken Campbell in the 15, trying to get to the inside of the 102 of Connor Baldwin. Oh, and he's gone a little bit too deep, almost got into the side of Baldwin's truck. Now here comes the 33 of Matt Horton trying to make a move on Campbell. Oh! A big door coming from the way of Matt Horton there by the looks of things. We couldn't get a proper angle on that, so we don't know if Horton ran up the track into him or whether Campbell turned down. That might have to be something that we look at later on there on lap 4. And now the whole field has gotten strung out. Everyone is nose to tail. No one is side by side at all. That is 17 trucks, all in a single line. Jonathan Hernandez still leading the way. We're going to have a look out from the rear of his truck here at the moment. See if we can keep an eye on the goings-ons back here. See Hernandez pulling right out and away from Christian Budd, just trying to break that draft, try and maintain his lead here. He knows he's only making one move down, one move back up. Realistically, if you're making any more moves than that, then you're just wasting time. Not just for yourself, but for your competitors as well. Let's see if we can grab a quick on board with the 2 of Chris Champeau here. We're going to look out of his nose cam. Watch this battle unfolding in front of him. Is the back of Thomas Harmon's number 38, the Avril Lavigne machine. It looks like everyone's starting to do the snake now. Everyone wants a little piece of that draft. But these 5 drivers, so very tightly packed together. You can tell they're all pushing really hard right now. They all want to be where Jonathan Hernandez is right now. And here comes the 50 of Christian Budd now, right on cue. Trying to look for a move here on the inside of turn 2. We know Jonathan Hernandez is very good at using the momentum there on the outside of 2 to stay ahead. But this is now going to also invite Thomas Harmon into trying to make a move on Brian Chambliss. Side by side they go. Who's going to come out with the advantage at the line? I'm pretty sure it's going to be Jonathan Hernandez here, and it is. But how long will they be able to maintain this side by side for before one or both of them start to really lose out? And it looks like Hernandez is going to take the advantage. Thomas Harmon still trying to battle on the inside of Chambliss for that P3. Chambliss right up the chuff of the 50 of Christian Budd. Flipping, sliding, dipping and diving is exactly what's going on right now. It's just Chambliss gets such a good run coming out of turn 1 there that he had nowhere to go but to push the 50 of Christian Budd, which allowed Christian to try and affect the overtake here again. But it's still just not going to be enough, as the 88 Jonathan Hernandez is going to lead another lap. Now Chambliss was almost going to try and make it 3 wide. The blocks are immense down the front stretch. Now if you guys don't think that these guys are trying to play the track position game, then I don't know what the hell you're looking at, because that was an incredible piece of driving by those 3 at the front. The blocks that were being thrown were amazing. Now Chambliss actually trying to look for a move around the outside of Christian Budd for P2. Not normally a move that we see happening, the outside run, but it's definitely one that's looking like it's going to come into play here, especially while these guys are on fairly fresher tyres. But all this in-squabbling between them has allowed Jonathan Hernandez to pull a little bit of a gap. Also allowed Jaron Sanchez, Travis Massey and Kyle Kraus to catch up to these guys. So instead of just being a battle amongst the top 5, it's now a battle amongst the top 8. Sounds the leader of Jonathan Hernandez, who was pulling away. We're going to go back to looking at the back of the Jonathan Hernandez mobile. Look at the side-by-side battling going on behind him. It actually looks like Thomas Harmon has gotten around the outside of Christian Budd now, so Christian Budd dropping down to 4th. He went from challenging for the lead to dropping down to 4th. It looks like these guys now starting to get strung out again, or at least going single file, so I think Austin Hakes is now on the back of that. So this is now a battle of 9 cars rather than 8. And there is a little bit of a gap there between Hakes and Weaver. Ryan Chambliss actually looking really pacey here right now behind Jonathan Hernandez. Ever since he got around Christian Budd, he's just been sitting there in the draft of Hernandez and has been catching up to him fairly quickly. Tyre preservation might not be on his mind, which could come into play later on in the run. Now let's see if Chambliss has anything for Hernandez, as these two are cleared out from the rest of that little pack here a little bit. About a half a second gap between Chambliss and Harmon. But Jonathan Hernandez still leading the way, and quite comfortably. I think we're actually going to go to a commercial break here right now. Make sure you guys stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be going till these guys have to start taking some green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And welcome back to the Champ Speed Shop 137 here from the Pocono Raceway, live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And Chambliss has not been trying to make a move here on Jonathan Hernandez just yet. He might just be sitting in there behind the 88 car, just waiting for his moment to strike. Possibly trying to save his tyres and fuel here a little bit. Go for a little bit of a longer run, try and affect the overcuts. There's not usually something that works too well here on iRacing. But I also just noticed then, as we came back from break, before Jaron Sanchez has front end damage there on that truck. And it looks like the two of Chris Champeau has the corresponding rear end damage to go with it. So I'm not sure what happened there between those two, but it looks like they have had it coming together at some point in the lap. We are on lap 15 of 55, which means when we get to the start-finish line, there will only be 40 laps left to run in this race. But it looks like the intensity here for the top group just coming down now. No one's really pushing too hard. No one's really trying to go for a move. I do see some moves starting to get made there back in the pack a little bit. I think that's with the 102, Connor Baldwin, who's just gotten around the 26 of Joseph Weaver. Matt Horton follows suit, getting in front of him. And looks like Joseph Weaver actually experimenting with some alternate dimensions there. Trying to get a little bit of extra pace about himself. As Joseph Weaver now up on the tail of the 33 of Horton. We'll be wanting to try and get that position back. These guys are about 3.5 seconds behind Travis Masia, who's currently in P9. Who's actually trying to find his way to the back of that front pack. There's definitely little gaps forming throughout that front pack though. Gap between the 4th and 5th place cars, Christian Budd and Chris Champeau. Looks like the excitement here has died down a little bit, although the 33 Matt Horton trying to find a way around that 102 car. See Matt Horton with that right side damage from that earlier skirmish in turn 3. As he's going to try and go for the inside run here. Oh, there's more contact. And the 102 has just slammed into the fence. And that is going to be his race day done. Smoke coming out the back of that truck. And that is unfortunate for our league rookie Connor Baldwin. Go back and have another look at that in slow-mo. See Matt Horton trying to get that inside run. And it looks like Connor just turned in before Matt Horton was ready. Not sure if Matt Horton was trying to hold him out wide there. Oh, but that was a solid hit. All 4 wheels came off the ground. If this was real life, then he'd need to get a checkup there at the medical center. And Joseph Weaver just managing to scrape through without touching Connor. But the race must continue on. Still Jonathan Hernandez leading the way now from Thomas Harmon. Ryan Chambliss has fallen down to 5th. See him back there behind Chris Champeau. I'm not sure what happened to these guys up front, but the order is definitely getting spiced up a little bit here as the two of Chris Champeau looking for a run around the outside of the 50 of Christian Budd. There doesn't appear to be any damage on the 21 truck, so maybe just Went a little bit wide in one of the corners, got into the marbles a little bit and had to slow up an extra amount. As the bump drafting from Sanchez on Christian Budd was happening. Close quarters combat going on here, and this is for 3rd through to 8th, I do believe, or 7th actually, 3rd through 7th this battle is for. You see the 13 of Travis Masia just looming there in the background ever so slightly as the battle rages on between Chris Champeau and Brian Chambliss, sorry. Christian Budd is in this battle as well. You see him sitting there in 5th. And he's trying to hold off Kraus and Sanchez. And he has a little bit of rear end damage there too. I just noticed that his right rear is a little bit crinkled up, so maybe he's had a little bit of an excursion into the wall. There's nothing on the front of his car, it's literally just the right rear there. And maybe he's slid the right rear into the wall at some point. As here he comes down, making a move to the inside of Chambliss and Champeau. And makes that move with ease on the inside of turn 3. He sent it into that corner. Champeau now stuck on the inside as Chambliss just got to his outside coming out of turn 3. Let's see what Chambliss can do, whether he can make an overtake. Oh, the block from the 50 of Christian Budd. That almost could have ended ugly for both himself and the 2 of Chris Champeau. Going to go 3 wide into turn 1 with Kraus, Sanchez, and Chambliss. And that almost ended ugly as Sanchez and Kraus just about made side-to-side contact. But now Travis Masia and Austin Hakes in this battle, well and truly. And this has definitely allowed Harmon and Hernandez to skip away. Harmon has actually taken the lead of the race at some point. Oh, there's a little bit of side-to-side contact there from the 2 of Chris Champeau onto the 21 of Chambliss. But this battle going on from 3rd on back is definitely starting to spice up a lot here. Christian Budd actually in the lead of this little group now, and he's trying to pull away as much as he can. And it looks like the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez with a little bit of right front damage there and right rear damage there. He's gotten into the wall at some point. That's why Thomas Harmon has gotten around him. That's unfortunate for Hernandez. That's definitely going to hinder him as the race continues on. Again, it looks like for the moment everyone's just settled down their battle stations. Although I say that the 13 of Travis Masia trying to start making moves. He is currently on the inside. That's Kyle Kraus, who's just smashed the wall big time coming out of turn 3. That was one of the hot spots that I said we have to keep an eye on. Austin Hakes followed suit going around the 60, so too does the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. I would not be surprised at all if that's major damage on the 60 of Kyle Kraus. And it looks like the 21 of Chambliss trying to size up another move on the 2 of Chris Champeau here. That's as the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez has now fallen back into the clutches of Christian Budd. Thomas Harmon out to a huge lead right now, 1.6 seconds over Hernandez. Oh, as Chris Champeau slips a little bit wide there coming out of 3. And now we're going to go 3 wide down the front stretch, just about, maybe. Nope. Not enough draft there for the 13 of Masia to make that super inside line there work. As Christian Budd did just get around Jonathan Hernandez, so Hernandez now down to 3rd after being in 1st or 2nd for the entire start of the race. Chambliss, now that he's gotten clear of Champeau, starting to pour the pressure onto the back of the 88 of Hernandez now. I don't think that's going to be too hard though, looking at the damage that Hernandez has on his truck. Now, this is a fairly aero package sensitive track. So if you go beating yourself into the wall too much, you will start losing a lot of time. Especially when it comes to the pit stop cycle, which should be starting to open up here shortly as we're just about at the halfway point. And it looks like we've got to move on for the two of Chris Champeau just about. No, Chambliss has got to move on though, on the 88 of Hernandez. Hernandez starting to fall from grace here a little bit. The 13 of Travis Massey got a little bit balked there. Didn't want to run into the 88 of Hernandez. But Hernandez definitely starting to fall from grace with that right side damage that he's got on his truck. Looks like everyone's trying to organise a freight train on the inside of him here. Christian Budd ever so slightly closing in that gap on Thomas Harmon now. It's not by much each lap, but he's definitely doing it. 3/10 the last lap alone. There's Sanchez trying to wheel the 28 of Austin Hakes past Jonathan Hernandez. Hernandez pulls back into line now in 8th position. Tell you what, he can overcome the aero deficit if he's got slightly better tyre life, but he was pushing pretty hard pretty early, so I don't think that's going to be a thing that happens for him. And he's actually losing a lot of time to these guys ahead now, so he's down a little bit on power by the looks of things, as well as aero. So the impact that he must have had with the wall must have been a pretty solid one. As the forward Jaron Sanchez trying to get underneath Austin Hakes in the 28. He's gotten to the inside of him now. It's all about where he can make the overtake stick, and it doesn't look like he can. Hakes using the draft off of the two of Chris Champeau to stay ahead. These guys fighting tooth and nail for scraps right now. They're trying to pick up the third step on the podium. And it looks like we might actually have a DNF. Yeah, we do have a DNF, that's right. Baldwin is out. DNF so far. So we still have 16 cars on track, all of them on the lead lap. This being such a big track, it's not easy to catch up to the back of the field. But Austin Hakes now trying to look for a move to the inside of the two of Chris Champeau. And he gets that move made coming into turn 2. Chris Champeau was trying to do an over-under on him there, coming out of turn 2. Not going to be able to get that done yet. He might have been able to if he dove to the inside there of 3, but even then that's a risky move. 4 of Jaron Sanchez right up on the tail of Champeau. As we do now start having green flag pit stops taking place, we are officially at the halfway mark. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez was the first one to blink. I think the 60 of Kyle Kraus and the 39 of James Watson has gone in too. Let's go have a look at our leader, Thomas Harmon, who still has an ever so slight gap over the 50 of Christian Budd. Now let's see when these guys decide that they're going to start coming into the pits. I reckon how these two pit is going to shape the rest of the race. And neither one of them coming into the pits this time. In fact, I don't see anyone in that top 8 who have come into the pits this time. Or should I say top 7? The 15 of Ken Campbell has come in though. But everyone's still on the lead lap right now. This is one of those tracks where you can get your pit stop done and stay on the lead lap. Such is the length of the circuit. Now let's see if anyone decides that they're going to come into the pits this time. It looks like the 5 of Mark Pentecoff stayed in the pits for a little bit longer than scheduled, getting some of his repairs done. But we do have one car a lap down. Brian Chambliss has pitted. And someone else at the back there pitted. I think that was a 33 of Matt Horton. Our top 6 from Harmon to Champeau staying out at the moment. I'll tell you what, this could be exactly what Jonathan Hernandez needs right now. If he stays out there for long enough, he could probably use the fresher tyres to his advantage, get back towards the front. Alright, let's see if we've got any takers for the pits this time. And both Harmon and Bud coming in. This is going to be a pivotal stop for both of them, as long as they can get slowed up for that line. I think everyone in the top 6 just come in. Everyone's coming in at the same time. Right now, the effective leader is actually the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Got Jonathan Hernandez right on his tail. But we're going to see how they all come out. Let's pick up Harmon in the pits. In fact, no, we're not going to pick up Harmon in the pits because these guys on the track right now are going to have the advantage. And there they go. So it's going to be Kraus, Chambliss and Hernandez now in the lead. And Christian Budd jumping Thomas Harmon in the pits. As they catch up to Mark Pentecoff, who is officially 1 lap down now. But the battle is on between the 28 and the 60 for the lead. And Jonathan Hernandez still well and truly in this battle, even with the little bit of battle scars that he has on that truck. And he definitely cannot count out Thomas Harmon, as it looks like Christian Budd trying to move to the inside of Hernandez this time. He's going to make that move stick into turn 2. The turn 2 seems to be a very popular place to make overtakes happen. As now Christian looking for the inside run on the 60 of Kraus. And he gets that move made too. Here comes Thomas Harmon trying to make an overtake work as well. Harmon got around Hernandez, but he hasn't gotten around Kyle Kraus yet. It looks like this time, coming out of turn 1, he's going to be able to make that stick. He's also trying to pick up the draft there from the Brian Chambliss car, the 21 in the lead. So your top three is Chambliss, Bud, and Harmon. We're going to stick the camera on the 38 car here. We'll watch what he does. As the battle is going to rage on behind them between Kraus and Hernandez. Battle of the broken cars there. Harmon trying to get around the outside of Christian Bud here in turn 1. Not usually a place where you see a move being made. But Harmon still sticking his nose out there. He's going to have the momentum advantage. And he might actually be able to make this move stick coming out of turn 2. In fact, he makes it stick before the entry of turn 2. Biblical scenes. These guys are doing things that I never thought that it could be done. The battle's still raging on behind them between Kraus and Hernandez as well. Hernandez just got around Kraus, that's for P4. But Kraus not done with yet, he wants to try and make the move back on the 88 car of Hernandez. It looks like that is not going to be a possibility for him here. Battle still raging on for P2 as well, between Harmon and Bud. Oh, and it looks like Bud was rubbing up against the wall there on the entry to 2. And he's going to have a little bit of damage from that. He's definitely lost a little bit of time here to Harmon. I tell you what, guys, this is the most human that I have seen Christian Bud in the last year and a half. He's making mistakes in this race that we don't normally see him make. You see Chambliss trying to break the draft to the cars behind. Not going to work too well for him here. Only half a second between himself and Harmon. Christian Bud definitely feeling that damage though. He hasn't lost much pace, but it's just enough where he's not going to be a factor here for the win, I think. Not unless he does a mega save of his tyres and comes back at the end of the race. Chambliss took a very low line all the way down on the painted checkered field on the inside of the front stretch there. Harmon is ever so slightly closing this gap. Last lap for Chambliss was a 55.791. For Harmon, it was a 55.673. But even then, Christian Bud was faster than Chambliss as well with a 7.60. But still not enough that he's going to pick up the pace on Harmon. Harmon with a big send there into turn 3. He's trying to close up that gap now. He's not worried about tyre life. So I think before we get to a point of where he can get there, we are going to go to another quick commercial break here. And when we come back, we'll be taking you to the checkered flag unless we get a caution. Make sure you guys stay tuned. And we are back live and exclusive here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Champ Speed Shop 137 here from the Pocono Raceway, and something has happened to Brian Chambliss. Something has gone horribly wrong for Brian Chambliss. He seems to have just lost all power in that truck. This has literally just happened as we come back from break. Something has gone terribly wrong with his truck. Sounds like his truck still has power to it. Maybe not. There's no engine sound there. No idea what's gone wrong there for Chambliss. But that is absolutely gutting. We're going to keep an eye on him here. See if he can make it back to the pit lane. Wonder what went wrong. Maybe he didn't put fuel in the truck. I don't know. I don't think he would have made that mistake. I don't think he would have made the mistake of not putting enough fuel in it either. Oh, and he's just stopped on the track. Unfortunately, that has brought out a caution. So this is going to be our first caution of the race, unfortunately, for the 21 of Brian Chambliss. This is really good news, actually, for the 5 of Mark Pentacuff, who was a lap down. He will get the Lucky Dog wave around. We're going to open up the radio waves here, see if we can hear anything of interest. But that's strange, because normally when cars are on the apron like that, it doesn't trigger a safety car. But unfortunately, that is what we got. I'm going to quickly see
about turn 1.
if we can get a quick chat with the driver of the 21 himself. Because that was weird, and I would like to know what happened. Hey Brian, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you.
Man, I don't know what happened there. It just looked like your truck completely just lost power. What went wrong?
I really don't know. I was just driving down the front stretch and it just shut off and it would not start. It wasn't blown up because when I finally came to a stop, the motor fired, and then it was showing it was in gear, but I had no throttle, so I don't I don't really know what happened. I don't know how to explain. Sorry about it, the caution. I was just trying to figure that out and not, lose a ton. I didn't figure a caution would have came being all the way down there by the wall.
It's alright. I didn't think you were going to bring out a caution either with how low you were being. It was good heads up, respectful driving from yourself. And I hate that happened to you, man. You looked like you were absolutely flying in the lead there.
Yeah, one lap a little fresher, or one lap a little older, so Thomas was slowly catching me in the draft, but I don't know. I just don't know how to explain what happened.
Alright, well, I hope you can get whatever is going wrong figured out, man. And we hope to see you back bigger and stronger next week.
Yeah, and hopefully I'm not done. Maybe I can get back out there. You never know.
Well, hopefully, man, and maybe another quick caution to get you back on that lead lap.
See, I think I'm 2 down now.
I remember when you tow, it gives you 1 back.
Well, it's news to me.
All right, well, thank you for coming out anyway, Brian, and hopefully if you can get that truck back on track, that you get a good result, and if not, then we'll see you next week, mate.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was the 21 of Brian Chambliss. Unfortunate circumstances there for him. And just like that, the entire field has been shaken up. Just looking at the order coming out of the pits, it's Harmon, Kraus, Sanchez, Hakes, Watson, Weaver, Champeau, Masia, Marquez, and Bud down in 10th. I think Christian Bud might have gotten some of his repairs done. And it's got Campbell, Weaver, Marquez. Oh, that one's not updated. So I'll just have to give that one a second to figure out where everyone is properly. Gotta let everyone cross the start-finish line. I see Mark Pentecoff in the pits. Ryan Chambliss in the pits. I can see the 24 Frank Isaacson has just exited the pits. And as we cross the line this time, we're going to have 11 laps to go. A little bit of drama here to finish off the race. The lights are out on the pace car, so we are going to get going this time by. So the order is Harmon, Kraus, Sanchez, Hakes, Watson, Weaver, Champo, Macia, Marquez, Budd, Horton, Campbell, Hernandez in 13th, and Isaacson 14th. Mark Pentecoff 1 lap down in 15th position. Unfortunately, Chambliss now down 3 laps. And Connor Baldwin DNF. So this is a big reset for the entire field. We're going to have 10 laps to go, which means these guys, with everyone having fresh tires, are just going to be pushing the absolute limit. So let's see how we go. Remember, the restart will be on the leader, so Thomas Harmon will be controlling the restart here. But here we go. The pace car pulls off. We're off and racing.
Green flag.
Harmon with a slightly early restart, but it was what he needed to get around everyone here. Aaron Sanchez kind of left out on his own there on the inside lane, but he's still trying to take that second place away from Kyle Kraus. Kraus actually getting a little bit loose there in turn 1. Thomas Harmon leading the way from Sanchez, Kraus in 3rd, Austin Hakes in 4th. You see everyone being all bunched up together again. Definitely adding another layer to this race now. There's James Watson. He's trying to make a move for 5th. That is on the 26th of Joseph Weaver. And it looks like he might be able to get it done too. There's also the 50 of Christian Budd back there. He's just trying to work his way through the field, get back to a respectable position. Watson got a little bit loose, so did Weaver. Now Weaver getting a bump draft from the 50 of Christian Budd. That's how desperately Christian wants to get back up into the front of the field. He's bump drafting his way up there. As now Christian Budd pulling to the inside of Weaver. He's going to try and make that move stick in turn 1. He does make that move stick into turn 1. Weaver got a little bit loose, so did Watson. Oh, and we got a crash at the back. Oh no, that's Jonathan Hernandez. And he looks like he just caught the 5 of Mark Pentecoff as well. Let's go back and see what happened here to Hernandez. Coming out of turn 1, he's on the inside of Marquez after just getting his truck completely fixed. Now let's see, does he just get loose or is there contact? All is looking on. Oh no, Jonas got loose coming out of turn 1, which pushed him down into the 88 of Hernandez. And that is a terrible camera angle switch. Oh, and he caught the worst part of the wall too. All 4 tires in the air. He flew for about 20 feet. And into the 5 of Mark Pentecoff he went. Oh, that is unfortunate. And that's both of them done for the day now. See both of them with some major engine damage. But this caution was really good news for Christian Budd, who just made his way up into P5 there. Let's see if we can get a quick audience with the 5 of Mark Pentecoff and see his reaction to that incident. Hey, Mark, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
It's 3 seconds behind the field on purpose, and then the wreck hit me. So 30 minutes of repairs. So
yeah, it didn't look like a good opportunity there, man. I know that you were just trying to hold your own at the back there and wait for another caution, but you weren't expecting to beat a caution, were you?
not that far back, no. Yeah. Yeah, I figured I would be all right.
So is that day done? Is that the truck is gone, or you still have an opportunity here to get back out?
No, I got 30 minutes of required, so it is done.
That's unfortunate, man. But chin up. Next week we're going back to Bristol, baby. So hopefully, a decent result for you there.
Yeah, hopefully so. Thanks.
All right, thank you for your time, Mark.
Yep.
All right, now let's see if we can dial up the 88 car of Mr. Hernandez. Hey, Jonathan, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, I feel so bad for you because you started out this race so strong, got a little bit of right side damage, and that's where it's just all falling apart for you here.
Yeah, it was just it was about that mark where 20 laps with this truck here, just the front tires go away, so it just starts pushing, and I knew once we reached that mark, I could start feeling it, and yeah, of course, a lap later, and the tunnel turn just stopped turning. I was off the gas and everything. I knew I was gonna hit it, so we hit it. It was just 25 seconds, but it was enough to draw out our speed a little bit. So I just, during the caution, decided to just get it all fixed and just see where we end up. It was either that or just do what Kyle did and just don't get it fixed and just come out and hope for the best. But yeah, we were just wrong place, wrong time. Looked like Jonas might have gotten loose out of the corner or something and came down, and we were right there. So yeah, it was good race start off. Luckily, we got some laps led, and we got the pole. So that's something. And other than that, is just go on to next week. I think at Bristol is where we're at.
Yeah, it's Bristol next week, so hopefully a good result for you there, man. I know you were pushing so well here to begin with, but let's carry that momentum on to next week, and hopefully you don't end up here early again.
I mean, with our luck recently, I'll probably meet you back in the booth.
Well, don't say that. Then it will happen. All right, well, thank you for your time, Jonathan, and better luck next week, mate.
All right, Corey.
All right, so there we go. We got both Mark and Jonathan in there. And we have just also gotten the 1 to go signal from the pace car. Don't forget, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, this race is being streamed live over at Twitch. So don't be afraid to come join us, come into the chat, join the discussion, where you can be a part of the live action and get all the live reactions from all the action going on. And it looks like Thomas Harmon has decided to take the outside lane here for the restart. So it's going to be Thomas Harmon, Jaron Sanchez, Kyle Kraus, Austin Hakes, Christian Budd, Joseph Weaver, James Watson, Travis Massier, Ken Campbell, and Chris Champeau bringing up the end of the top 10. As I said on that previous restart, it is on the leader. And we will have just the sum of 5 laps left to run in this race when we get the green flag. Alrighty, here we go. The pace car is in. And we're up and going.
Go. Green flag.
Another early jump there for Thomas Harmon. You see Sanchez covering the line of Austin Hakes, not allowing him to get up on his outside. Very heads-up driving there for Sanchez. But he's going to maintain that P2. Austin Hakes trying to get into third on the outside of Kyle Kraus. And it doesn't look like it's going to work out for him just yet. Kraus still staying strong there on that inside line. But still Thomas Harmon leading the way. And Kraus now loses out third to Hakes. As the 50th Christian Budd is right there as well. Oh, some looseness in the back. I think that was Joseph Weaver who copped a little bit of a whack from the 39 of James Watson. And, oh, we're going to have another crash here by the looks of things. And around goes the 33 of Matt Horton. Now, I think that all started with the 39 of James Watson. Let's back this up and have a look. See, very close quarters racing here. They're 3 wide. The 33 to 39 and the 2. The Ken Campbell was actually in behind Watson, giving him a push. Oh, and that's the same thing that we've seen all day. It's either someone's turning down onto Horton, or Horton is not turning in fast enough. You see James just unfortunately bouncing off between the 2 cars. But it looks like he got that gutted back up again. And Ken Campbell was the one who finished off Matt Horton here, sent him around. And does he stay off the wall? No, he got a little bit of a touch there. Doesn't look like there's too much damage done to the front of his truck, which is good. And he will be able to continue on. So we're going to take this opportunity to go to another quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have the end of this race, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back. So I do believe we will be ending up going into overtime here, because we're officially at 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. Which means that we'll get 1 lap of overtime. This will be our first of 3 attempts at a green-white checker. Which means all the marbles will be on the table for the taking. Sorry, my apologies. It's going to be 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish.
Austin, you gotta go on the inside.
Alright, so we're on 1 to go again here. Thomas Harmon's going to lead the way. As I said, we are in overtime now. It's got to be Harmon, Sanchez, Kraus, Hakes, Massier, Bud, Champo, Weaver, Campbell, and Isaacson as your top 10. Possibly not in that order. Some people go back behind some other drivers that they should be in front of. But from here, it's going to be Thomas Harmon's race to lose. Remember, we have 2 attempts at the green white checker. This will be the first official attempt that we're going to have. Alright, here we go, coming out of turn 3. Remember, restart is on the leader. Thomas Harmon has control. And he had lane choice, he chose the outside again. The pace car is in. And we're off and racing.
Go. Green flag.
Another really good jump there for Thomas. And another decent jump for Sanchez, but not as good of a jump as what he got last time around. He's not able to cover off that outside lane. But he will still hold on to the P2. See the 60 there of Kyle Kraus trying to maintain third. There's the 50 of Christian Budd just up in there as well. See everyone jostling for position. This is where all the marbles are well and truly on the table. As I said before, this is where panic stations will set in. But as long as we can make it to the white flag, then we will not get another caution. As Thomas Harmon zooms along, coming through turn 3 for the penultimate time. When we get to the start-finish line, we will be on the last lap. And it's a white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Thomas Harmon. Darren Sanchez still holding on to a really good P2 now. I think he's going to be able to hold on to that, barring failure of some kind. And at the moment, Kyle Kraus still holding on to third over Massier and Christian Budd, who are side by side battling through turn 1. We would go and have a look at that, but we won't, just because we want to keep an eye on our leader here. Make sure he doesn't do anything that'll jeopardize his win. Coming through turn 2 for the final time, it's still Harmon, Sanchez, and Kraus. The battle is still on for 4th. It's between Massier and Budd. No telling who's going to end up where. But coming out of turn 3, your winner here at Pocono for the Champs Speed Shop 137 is going to be the 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. P2 is going to go to way Darren Sanchez. P3, Kyle Kraus. And it looks like Christian Budd is going to hold on to 4th over Travis Massier in 5th. As the shenanigans ensue behind everyone. Everyone wanted to save the big pile up for after the race, and that's exactly what they did. So congratulations to Thomas Harmon there on the win. And I think this is the first time Christian Budd has not finished on the podium in a long time. I think, just having a quick little squiz here, Kyle Kraus might actually be the Hard Charger Award winner too. He gained 7 positions in the race. We'll have to go double check that while we get the driver interviews ready. But we're going to wait for Thomas Harmon to make his way back around to the front straight so he can do some celebratory donuts. Brand new paint scheme, and he put it in the winner's circle. And there you go, he just crumpled it. That's a very happy Thomas Harmon getting the win here at Pocono. But with that, we're going to go to a commercial break now. when we come back, we will be having driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, guys, it is time for our Viagra Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger Award winner is going to be the 60 car of Mr. Kyle Kraus. Kyle, P3, and you're the hard charger, mate. Congratulations. It looked like it was definitely one hell of a race out there, especially with those late cautions.
Thanks, Corey. It was a hell of a race. I was just fighting to hang on there at the end. I got some about 30 seconds of damage, pretty significant hit coming out of three, maybe about just before halfway. Trying to run side by side with Travis and just pushed it too hard, and I was just struggling the rest of the race trying to hold on to it. So I didn't mind seeing the cautions, but the restarts were crapshoots every time.
Yeah, it definitely looked like restarting on the inside there on that second row was definitely not doing you any favors in those last couple of restarts.
Yeah, it's funny because I thought I got a better restart on the inside line. Like when I lined up behind Jaron, I got a better jump with Thomas because I felt like I had a better view. But then on track wise, I did a lot better. Starting right up behind him on the outside, I was able to get around Austin, which I didn't expect to be able to do.
It definitely looked like you were trying to have a crack at Jaren as well on that final restart. What was it like just, trying to get that battle going, especially with how old those tires must be feeling?
I was just pushing as hard as I could because I knew I didn't have I was really down on straightaway speed with the damage. Um, so I was just trying to drive it in and hold on to it. I knew I wouldn't be able to get around Jaron because I couldn't pull up for a pass. So mainly just trying to keep Chris Jaron and everybody else that was faster than me behind me.
All right, now let's look forward to next week here, Kyle. We're going to the Bristol Motor Speedway, and if we all remember back to last season, we know how well that went for everyone. But what's the feeling like for you going there in the trucks?
Well, hopefully it's a little bit different result this time around since we'll be on dirt. But I have never driven the trucks on dirt, I will probably be terrible at it. So, it'd be nice if I could survive the race. That would be my goal.
You know what? I actually completely forgot that it was going to be on Dirt Bristol. I am now more excited for it than anything else that I've been excited for.
I'm glad I can make your day, Corey.
All right, Kyle. Well, before we let you go here tonight, while we see you go 3 wide with Jaren and Brian in the replay, any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, as usual, thanks to you, Corey, for the broadcast. Love listening to him on after the race. Thanks to Jaron and all the admins who run the league, and everybody for showing up every week, and the family for letting me get away on Tuesday nights.
All right. Well, thank you very much for all the work you do behind the scenes again, Kyle. It's always a pleasure to have you up here in the booth as well. And good luck next week for Dirt Bristol.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was Kyle Kraus, today's third place getter and Hard Charger Award recipient. Coming up next, we're going to be speaking to our second place getter, league owner and operator, which is, of course, the 4-car of Jaren Sanchez. Now, Jaren, I was just having a look at the replay while we were talking to Kyle there, and it was when you were in a 3-wide situation with him and Brian Chambliss. But how was the race for you? It looked like you were right up there for most of the race.
Yeah, I felt like I was 5th to 10th speed, but a couple people got hurt, and then one of the pit stops, the first yellow, I was able to leapfrog a few people and just kind of hold there and brought it home second, which is pretty cool.
Now, those late restarts must have been a little bit nerve-wracking for you, especially restarting out of P2.
It sort of, but I knew Kyle had a little bit of damage, so I figured if I can just get him on the restarts, I wouldn't have to worry about much, and hopefully it would fend off people, keep people behind for me. So I was a little worried. I figured I'd finish in the top 3 at that point, but yeah, it was. If Kyle didn't have any damage, I would have been very worried.
Now, we also noticed that you picked up a little bit of front end damage there early, and I think I remember seeing some corresponding damage on the back of Chris Champo's car. What happened there to give you that little bit of nose damage?
Oh, it was the first. It was green flag pit stop, so I was right behind Hakes coming to the pits, and he kind of stopped. He started hitting the brakes right in front of me, and I didn't catch it, so I went right into this rear end. So that's where that came from. And yeah, earlier in the race, I did bump Chris, but I don't think it was enough to do anything because he didn't have any damage. I don't know.
On my screen, he had a little bit of rear end damage, and you had a little bit of front end damage, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
But let's look forward to next week now. Going to Dirt Bristol. How is the feeling like for you heading into the only dirt race of this season?
Oh, I forgot that was a dirt race. Jeez. Yeah. It ain't gonna be pretty for me. So, looks like my hot streak in the league is gonna come to an end next week.
Oh, I don't know. I've got faith in you, Jaren. I mean, I've taught you enough about dirt racing that I reckon you'll be able to hold your own.
Yeah, I'll try, but I might want to get some practice.
All right. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
Oh yeah, just I really enjoy racing with this league. Shout out to all the drivers and all my friends that come out and race every week, and you for putting on a good broadcast, and my wife for supporting the hobby. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Jaren. Thank you for putting on the league, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Bristol.
Alrighty, thank you.
All right, guys. Coming up next, we're going to have our winner here today. And for once, it's not Christian Budd. And for twice, he's not even in the top 3 because we're talking to the 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas! Finally, with an actual win that, wasn't due to fuel mileage or anything like that. You went out there and you just pound for pound went for it and you come home with the win.
Yeah, it was nice fighting Christian and Jonathan and hell, pretty much anybody in the top 10 at one point. The package just kept everybody bunched up, and if you tried to pass, it pull everybody back and let the people in front pull away. But it was nice being able to fight with everybody, and really nice to come out on top.
It definitely looked like the early laps in a run were really intense with the way that the pack just stayed all together. What was it like on track? Just, trying to deal with trying to get towards the front and not letting anyone get to your outside because that seemed to be the path of choice.
Yeah, it was a little difficult, especially since you really couldn't generate a run, and when you did, you'd have to take it to the inside most of the time, and that was pretty much a death sentence at any point. But yeah, it was just so hard to generate a run, and when you could, trying to get it to the outside was definitely the way to go.
Now let's talk about those final few restarts. On the first caution, you decided to take the inside lane, but then the last two, you decided to take the outside lane. What was the thought process like with just changing it up there and figuring out which one was better for you?
I mean, do we have to ask? It was more cars in front of Christian at that point. The more I could have starting in front of him, the more safe I felt.
That is completely fair, honestly. And that plan worked because he didn't end up getting into the top three. He only come home in P4.
Yeah, I knew he got damage during that long run, and then I think he got a little bit more getting into Kyle at one point there. But I saw that in my mirror, and I felt a little bit more safe at that point. But I knew he was still a threat, and I had to do all I could to put as many cars between me and him as possible.
All right, now let's look forward to next week. We're going to be at Dirt Bristol, so your favorite track, but not your favorite track surface. What's it like for you going out to Dirt Bristol in the trucks?
Torture. I don't know where I'm going to be or where I'll finish, but it'll be torture all however many laps it is.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Before we let you go, though, we know you got a few shout outs, and we know that you're a Twitch streamer as well. Let's get a shout out to your Twitch channel and any other shout outs you got to handle here tonight.
All right, yeah, we'll start off with my stream, twitch.tv/JungleCatWizard. Stream pretty much anytime I race and a few games here and there. But shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting to everybody, all the fans that show up every week, all the fans that watch any of our channels, all the guys in the league, all the admins, Avril on the side of the truck, and Chris for putting together a great scheme to come out and run tonight.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on your win, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Dirt Bristol.
I'll be there. Have a good one.
All right, guys, so that was today's winner, Thomas Harmon. And as you can hear, he's really not all that enthused about going to Dirt Bristol. But that is going to end off our broadcast for today. Thank you all for coming out. If you're watching this over on the YouTubes, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, don't forget to follow the channel so you can keep up to date with all the races here in the Output Racing League. And until next time, when we go to Dirt Bristol, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator, and I'll see you guys next week.